You are Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, Wednesday night in Phoenix, Arizona, no Jayson Tatum, no problem for the Boston Celtics as they just absolutely, I'd say thump, that comes to mind, but let's say embarrass the Phoenix Suns. Welcome to our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime college basketball play-by-play announcer, former show host, satellite radio, ESPN radio, here to remind you that Greg Kite, yes, Greg Kite, wore number 50 when he wore the green and white of the Boston Celtics. You are locked on with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, providing reaction to every Celtics game on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, as well as the Locked On Celtics podcast feed, which you know is free and available wherever you get your podcasts. With our latest Locked On Celtics postcast, we're talking about Jayson Tatum not being in the starting lineup. It was all right. 10 threes in the first quarter, over 20 for the game, sharing the basketball. KP, terrific. Jaylen Brown, outstanding. Celtics starters scoring most of the points and knocking down 20-plus threes in the victory. And with that, Celtics make a little NBA history as well. We'll touch on that as well as we get going here. We do want to hear from you, our everydayers and our first-timers. Join the conversation, watching live on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Hit that comment button. Who's your game MVP? What was your moment of the night for the Celtics? Hit me up on X at Lennox on Hoops with questions, comments, or concerns. This episode of the Locked On Celtics podcast brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off on your first purchase. So if you're on social media as much as I am, during the course of a day, you saw Jayson Tatum. He did work out, was part of the shoot-around festivities earlier in the day, Wednesday in Phoenix. And you thought, well, okay. He went from doubtful to questionable to out. I don't know exactly when he was ruled out, but didn't play in the game. Wore his Duke outfit on the sideline, supporting Duke University. Celtics did not need Jayson Tatum in any way. And even if they lost the game on Wednesday to the Phoenix Suns, it would have been fine. But instead, the Celtics have won 7 in a row. And what a start to the game. As I touched on in the open, knocking down 10 threes in the first quarter. Ended up with 22 threes for the game and 33 assists. And they've matched their longest win streak of the season at 7 in a row. They continue to win on this road trip. 4 straight wins on this road trip, and I'll tell you what. I mean, we knew Utah wasn't good. Portland, not really. Sacramento, 500 team. Now, you know, after they played the Celtics the other night in Sacramento, below 500. And Phoenix entered on a 4-game win streak. But it just didn't matter. I mean, Phoenix, are you kidding me? They're playing for the play-in tournament. You have 2 of the best players, and the salaries kill you. Bradley Beal's deal kills you. He's not playing right now. But Booker and Kevin Durant, I mean, Kevin Durant, are you kidding me? He got his 30 points. But the Celtics, just terrific in this game. Just outstanding. And I think in many ways, as we are talking about this victory, a couple of things that you might be talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
How about Al Horford? Horford, 26-plus minutes in the starting lineup along with KP, so Joe Mazzulla again going with the 2 bigs up front. Now, Porzingis scored 30 points, knocked down 4 threes. Derrick White, 4 threes, 16 points. Jaylen Brown, 24 points. But Al Horford had 16 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and I'm not sure what happened, but they had him at 3 blocks in the first half. They took one away. So Horford, 5 of 10 overall from the field, 2 of 7. And with Horford, third quarter, right? You're starting the third quarter. You're up 108-81. You're up 27. Or I'm sorry. This is at the start of the third quarter. So at the start of the third quarter, you're up 19. 73-54. And you outscored Phoenix 31-16 in that second quarter. And you're thinking, okay, Durant 16 in the first quarter, 20 at the half. His first and only field goal in the second quarter came with under 2 to play. Third quarter, though, Al Horford in the corner. Put the ball on the floor, went to the rim, two-handed dunk. And then a few minutes later, Horford leaking out. Durant should have took the shot, made the pass back to the wing. He was in the corner. Three-pointer missed. I think it was Derrick White, flipped the ball ahead to Horford, his second dunk of the quarter. And Al Horford was just terrific. And again, if you're with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, join the conversation. And who's your player of the game? You know what? Instead of waiting, going with it right now.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Yeah, we really don't have to wait till segment number 2. Al Horford's my player of the game. Yes, KP outstanding. I love it. I mean, remember, before the illness, Porzingis was playing at a very high level. Missed time, thought, okay, he's going to come back. He's going to need some time. And he did. You know, he said it. You see him on video, on social media. Hey, working on my conditioning. But he didn't skip a beat in many ways. And I just, right now, I mean, I'm not a Debbie Downer, but the victories, 4-0 on this road trip, you've got 2 more. San Antonio Saturday, you get a couple of days off, Thursday, Friday. San Antonio Saturday at Memphis next Monday. That'll be a fun one. Then you go home. You don't have that many games left on the schedule. But I'll tell you what, Phoenix, I expected a lot more. I expected a run at the start of the third quarter. It never really came. And listen, again, it was just, I enjoyed watching it for 3 quarters. The fourth quarter, I mean, you just wanted the game to end. And if we weren't doing the Locked On Celtics postcast, I would have walked away. But a 30-point win. The Celtics scored 42 points in the first quarter. It is let me get to this. Celtics with 42 in the first quarter. 4th time this season. Numbers of the night now, they're just going to be throughout the night. They're going to be throughout our 2 segments. One of the numbers of the night, the Celtics, 42 points in the first quarter. The 4th time they've done it. The first 3 times in the first 6 games of the season. They've now scored 40 or more in a quarter on 11 occasions this year. Tatum in the lineup, no problem. Number of the night, Celtics are now 7-1 with Tatum. I'm sorry, 6-1 with Tatum out of the starting lineup this season. He's missed 7 games total. 90 or more points through 3 quarters for the 34th time this season. And the Celtics, 108. And I thought it was 37-27 in the third quarter. They took 2 points off the board. They didn't talk about it. But our absolute number of the night, again, the 3-pointers, 22 of 52. So you're above your season average. Right at 50% overall, 45 of 89. But as the Celtics were knocking down 10 threes in that first quarter, Phoenix was getting to the basket. They were getting dunks. They were getting layups. Down by 4. And Celtics got the lead. I think it was as large as 12 in that first quarter. But it didn't matter. The Celtics, again, 22 threes. But inside the 3-point line, the Celtics were 62%, 23 of 37. They actually had more points in the paint, 44-36 over the Suns. Phoenix never made a run. That, to me, is just, it's not baffling. It's just like, wow, you've got Devin Booker. Now Phoenix is going to come to Boston after this road trip is over. But this is a team, you're clawing. I mean, you're playing for the play-in tournament, which I don't really think there's a whole lot of spark of having to play in the play-in tournament, win 2 games, and then advance, where you have to play one of the top seeds. I sort of like it, but I don't think there's urgency at all. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If you're in that range. If you're 6, you don't want to any part of that play-in tournament, Eastern Conference or Western Conference. But boy, oh boy, I really thought more. I mean, again, Phoenix entered on a 4-game win streak. Oh, well. I know we're more about the Celtics, but wow, there wasn't a lot there. So Jaylen Brown hits a three in the third quarter. The Celtics entered the game Wednesday night needing 16 threes. Here is our number one number of the night. Celtics now over 1,300 threes, and they're going to break Golden State's record, I believe, here in the final 9 games of the regular season, especially if they hit another, couple of games where they hit 22 or more. You're going to have Derrick White. You're going to likely have Peyton Pritchard, and you may have Jayson Tatum break Isaiah Thomas's franchise record for the most threes in the season. They're all creeping up that ladder. Obviously, Jayson Tatum out of the lineup. And again, he's going to probably come to the gym on Saturday and say, I want to play against the Spurs. But if you take the game off against San Antonio, you come back against Memphis. The injury happened Monday night against the Sacramento Kings. And if you've got the next 2 days, but if you can add Saturday and Sunday, then play against Memphis or miss the Memphis game too, and then come back next week when you return home from the road trip that you're now 4-0 on with 2 to go. But Tatum, again, will come, working out during the day after spraining his ankle 2 games ago. Hey, sometimes, within my household, you don't reward or pat 2 teenagers on the back. You say thank you, but you don't make a big deal out of them doing the dishes. It's not necessarily a big deal that Jayson Tatum would return against the Suns on Wednesday night, 48 hours after spraining his left ankle, or even on Saturday. It's not a huge deal, but it is a huge deal when you consider what Jayson Tatum would want to do. He woke up Wednesday in Phoenix saying, hey, I'm going to try to give it a go. George Sedano on ESPN basically talked about it of, you know what? We can hold off here. But most NBA guys right now, they sprain their ankle on Monday. You're going to, you might not see them the rest of the season if they're, on the Utah Jazz or Charlotte Hornets. They might be done for the year with a sprained ankle with, a couple of weeks left in the regular season. No, Tatum ready to go the very next game. And again, when he went down Monday night, you're thinking the worst. And even NBA radio, Sirius XM Tuesday, it was like, hey, he may not be back. And there were some people from New York saying, hey, the Knicks right now, they're a team where they may, the Celtics may not want, Jayson Tatum may not play in the first round of the playoff series. Well, Jayson Tatum almost played 48 hours later. At least it was in consideration. There was video of Jayson Tatum working out. And I know I'm going down a road here. But again, he's not the norm in the NBA present day. But I'm going down the road here, making a big deal of it, just like my wife would want to make a big deal of our teenage boys doing something productive around the house to chip in without being asked 27 times. Most parents of teenagers can relate to that. Let's hit the comment button. The real Darrell. The Suns are looking forward to going to Fiji. Oh, the real Darrell. Yeah. I think, the play-in tournament, the way it's set up, make games more, make games count and not just play out the stretch. I don't think it has had the desired effect that the NBA thought it would. There's no urgency here with these teams. Sacramento, again, you're running into a red-hot team. And I was flabbergasted. Yes, I'm using that word. Dave Pasch, Tim Legler, I like them both. But come on. They both said the same thing about the Celtics and Phoenix Suns, and they're absolutely not true comparing one to the other. Early on it was, well, the Phoenix Suns are now 1-4 in a row. They started the season 8-1. They were then 14-14. They've been, I think, as many as 6 games below 500. Well, they're playing their best basketball of the season. Pasch said it late. Well, the Celtics have matched their, paraphrasing here, but they've won 7 in a row for the second time this year, matching their longest win streak of the season. They're playing their best basketball of the season. Yeah, but the Celtics have had one lull the entire year. Phoenix is playing below expectations. And I don't want to bring up the name Grayson Allen, but my goodness, is he just another? I mean, he's an average NBA player. Kevin Durant got his 30. Wow. I guess it is what it is. So we did our player of the game. I'm giving it to Al Horford. Moment of the night, Horford's dunk. in the turning point of the game, the first 5 minutes of the third quarter. You just knew Phoenix at that point was laying down. Durant played, got his points, but there was nothing that Phoenix was going to be doing going forward. More thoughts, run through some more numbers of the night, and thoughts on the upcoming San Antonio and Memphis. And got one other thought as well that I'm going to share. That's coming up next. Glad to have you on board. If you're on the East Coast, yeah, it's late, but that's okay. We're talking about a Celtics victory, a 30-point blowout win against the Phoenix Suns. Our latest Locked On Celtics postcast brought to you by Game Time. Nothing like watching basketball live, the energy of the crowd, the sound of the sneakers on the hardwood, and maybe even a celebrity sighting courtside. Hey, I did have a celebrity sighting last Saturday in Providence, and I did tell Spike Lee, decked out in the St. John's starter jacket, that he could jump off the bandwagon. So I did have a recent celebrity sighting. I didn't have game time for the tickets for the NCAA tournament in Providence, Rhode Island. I had my buddy John Kilb, and he got us right behind the basket for the second game, St. John's and Arkansas. Again, nothing like watching basketball live. The energy of the crowd, the sound of the sneakers on the hardwood, and maybe, yes, even a celebrity sighting courtside. If you want to catch a game in person, Game Time makes getting tickets easier than ever. Game Time's new feature, Game Time Picks, is able to filter out the fluff and shows you only the best deals on great seats, so you do not have to waste your time scrolling through thousands of tickets. Game Time features, well, yeah, easy ticket shopping. Also, check out the Game Time app for amazing deals on some huge matchups coming up. Game Time Picks even highlights super deals, giving you the best bang for your buck. You want peace of mind with seat views before you buy? No surprise fees, and the lowest price guaranteed. You can book with total confidence. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app today. Create your account. Use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off on your first purchase. Terms to apply. Again, create your account. Redeem code LOCKEDONNBA. $20 off on your first purchase with Game Time. Download the Game Time app today. What time is it? Come on. What time is it? You know what time it is. It's game time. Trying to get out of here in 24 minutes or less. I'm not very good at it. And if you continue with the conversation with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, that just extends us a little bit further. Paul checking in. We played solid defense in the second half. On a night where you score over 130 and you knock down 22 threes and you have 33 assists, I kind of feel like the defense sort of gets lost in it. But yeah, solid defense. And you never allowed that run to come for the Phoenix Suns. The Suns shot 41% overall, 13 of 41, 32% on the three-point line. The Celtics were 50% overall, 42% on threes, but knocking down 22 in 52 attempts. And again, I mentioned earlier, Celtics 2-point field goals, 23 of 37, 62% inside the three-point line. The real Darrell. Celtics win on Saturday. They're going to go undefeated on this trip. Hey, you can't go 6-0 without going 4-0 and then 5-0. And that's what's in front of them right now. And the real Darrell, as I sort of let that sink in a little bit more, yeah. I mean, right now, no Victor Wembanyama. Am I looking forward to Saturday night? Not necessarily. But we're going to be here with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. But I am looking forward to seeing, remember, Memphis beat the Celtics at TD Garden earlier in the year. So I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup. I'm hoping John Morant is in the lineup. I'm hoping Jayson Tatum is in the lineup. Hey, by the way, in case you missed it and you're a baseball fan, opening day of the 2025 Major League Baseball season Thursday. Well, opening day in the United States. Cubs, Dodgers have already opened up the Major League Baseball season, doing it in Tokyo, Japan last week. Anyway, if you're not familiar, I started with Locked On last June with the Locked On Red Sox postcast. We will be doing that starting on Thursday. Red Sox will open up the season on the road, first four in Arlington, Texas against the Rangers. I believe 4:05 first pitch 4:05 Eastern time, first pitch for Rangers and Red Sox. And we will be on within minutes of the final out, not the final buzzer, but the final out of all Red Sox games throughout the course of the season. And hey, we started last June, fell short, did not have October baseball for the Red Sox, but along the way, we're going to be with you, and the goal is 162. But we'll be on, again, Locked On Red Sox Postcast. We're going to be part of the Locked On Red Sox YouTube channel going forward. It will not be on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, but it'll be on the Locked On Red Sox YouTube channel starting on Thursday. So if you're a baseball fan, join us for that. If you have friends that are baseball fans, please encourage them to join us as well as we continue to build our audience with Locked On Celtics Postcast and Locked On Red Sox Postcast as well. Our latest Locked On Celtics Postcast brought to you by Game Time. If I made you dizzy there, I do apologize. Go through this. Celtics are now 7-1 when scoring 130 or more in a game. Celtics 70 or more points at the half for the 8th time this year, had 73 at the half, up 19 at halftime against the Suns Wednesday night. 113 is the season high, 113 points through 3 quarters. That opening night when they raised the 18th banner at TD Garden against the New York Knicks, who, by the way, one more game on the schedule against New York. And the Knicks lost to the Clippers, I believe, at home. Yes, at home on Wednesday night as well. So, some of your numbers of the night for the Celtics is they're now a season high 35 games over 500. And 60, the real Darrell, we've been talking about it. 60's right there. I mean, right there. 9 to go. 9 games left for the Celtics in the regular season. And this just was not what I was expecting against Phoenix. And I'm not sure why. Stupid me, maybe. Because the Suns' record, not great, but they entered on a 4-game win streak, and they may be in the play-in tournament, they may not be in the play-in tournament. And they've got a chance to play themselves where they're not in the play-in tournament, and they might be number 6. Dave Pasch went through a lot of different scenarios because of the head-to-heads and things like that. But the Suns are now 3 games under 500 at 35 and 38. I'd rather see the Mavericks in there if they've got a healthy Anthony Davis over the Phoenix Suns. That's sort of where I'm at right there. But as I mentioned earlier, 1,300 Celtics hitting 1,300 now, over 1,300 made threes for the season. They are the only team to have multiple seasons with 1,300 or more threes in a season. And the Celtics have now done it in 3 straight seasons. Let that sink in. 73 games into the season, they're over 1,300. Warriors NBA record, 1,363 threes for the 22-23 season. The Celtics team record, 1,351 for the 23-24 season. And the Celtics last year, that was for last season. The Celtics for the 22-23 season, 1,315. And they're going to break their own franchise record. They're going to break the Warriors' NBA record as well for the most threes in a single season. Houston, the only other team, they did it in 2018-2019 with 1,300 or more threes in a single season. And the Celtics are right there, going over 1,300. Brown did that in the third quarter. 42-point first quarter against the Suns, and they just went from there. The real Darrell. Who do you prefer in the first round of the playoffs? Boston looks ready for the playoffs. Celtics are ready for the playoffs, and they hit the it's go time button a while ago. They really did. I mean, this is a phenomenal stretch that the Celtics are on right now. Again, matching season high in terms of win streak with 7 in a row, and perfect still on this road trip. But the Celtics are now 28-10 in their last 38 games. And they've now won 18 of their last 21, 22-4 in their last 26. I know that's a lot of numbers. But they're just right there. They get on the bus after a victory, get on the plane, head to San Antonio, and it's look out. Who do I prefer? It's hard to say because of just where you're at, of who you're going to play. Let's see if I can get the standings up here real quick. The real derail, you're getting me in trouble. Actually, I'm getting myself in trouble. But, of the playing teams right now, of just looking currently at where they're at with Atlanta, I don't want Orlando. I don't know why I'm saying that. And, the Bulls, Chicago, Orlando. I mean, Trae Young with Atlanta. Over the course of a series, you're going to win. But the first round series for me, the biggest thing for me with the first round series is get it over as fast as possible. And if you're going to have, the Bulls have been playing a little bit better of late. If you're going to have a Trae Young or Kobe White or somebody just all of a sudden have one really big game, and then that carries over into a second game, and you're grinding in the fourth quarter of a playoff series, I just want that first round series over as fast as possible. That's what I want for the Celtics, so you can move on. Bloody. For some reason, I don't want Orlando. Yeah. Bloody wants the Hawks. Yeah, because, sort of like Kevin Durant. Durant, okay, I don't know what the game plan was against the Suns, but it was, and the Suns did a miserable job guarding the three-point line in the first quarter. Just absolutely abysmal. But Durant got his, and it was a quiet, somewhat of a quiet third. He had 20 in the first half, 16 of his points in the first quarter. But I just get scared of one guy, and Trae Young has that ability, and, he kicks it in another notch in a playoff series. But I would want to stay away from Orlando. I agree with that. The Bulls, they're sort of there too, but of those four that are right now in that situation of the play-in tournament, and how about the Raptors? The Raptors, and I said it, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but I said it. Let's see how they play. They've played themselves, they're 26 wins now. Washington is the worst team in the East at 16-56. Toronto's not going to catch Miami. So it's really looking like Atlanta, Orlando, Chicago, and Miami. And Atlanta and Orlando are separated by a half game. Bulls and Heat are separated by a game. So they could switch 7, 8, 9, 10, Atlanta, Orlando, Chicago, Miami in the final weeks of the regular season. But of those four right now, 7 through 10, Orlando would be the team I'd want to avoid as best as possible. Milwaukee could possibly be the number 6 seed. And Detroit's had a real good season. So I'm just looking at those, but, because they'll be 7 and 8 of those four teams if it stays that way. All right, we're getting out of here. Wow, went way over. Bloody checking in again. Yeah. Bloody, I don't know if you made that observation about the Suns' three-point defense being bad before I did or not. You might have beaten me to the punch there. I'm just seeing it now. Bulls are just killing their lottery chances for no reason. You could say that about a handful of teams, but you're there. Again, I don't know that this play-in tournament has had, the desired effect. I don't think there's urgency with some of these teams. What's next for us? Well, we're going to be back at it Saturday. But again, Locked On Red Sox postcast starts with opening day against the Rangers in Arlington, Texas on Thursday. Back at it with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast immediately or within a few minutes of the final buzzer. San Antonio on the schedule up next as the Celtics will try to extend their win streak to a season high 8 in a row. As always, we tip our cap to you for staying up late with us as we are now into the 1 a.m. Eastern hour on the East Coast. Celtics win big against the Phoenix Suns. Again, they've matched their season high with 7 straight wins. Tip our cap to you and also acknowledge our sponsor as well, Game Time. Supporting our sponsors like Game Time is supporting us with Locked On Sports. Locked On Sports Boston, number one place to hang out immediately after every game. Locked On Sports, your team, your Celtics, and starting tomorrow, your Red Sox every day.